All right. Welcome, everyone. 6 o'clock. I'm going to call the meeting to order of the Abington Planning Board on Monday, May 6, 2024. First order of business, I'd like to do the board reorganization. Congratulations, Rick Collins, on being reelected.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Yeah, good job.
You turning that over to me to accept nominations?
Yes,
Okay,
It's crazy. 10 years.
all right. I'm accepting nominations for chairman.
I'll make a motion to the organization of the board the same.
I would second that.
Okay, which makes it Bruce,
Yeah.
Jeff, and Rick Shepherd Clark, right?
10% pay raise?
Yeah, good luck with that.
All right,
10%
Motion
of
and a
nothing
second?
is.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
All right, Mr. Chairman,
Okay.
congratulations.
thank you. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it very much. Do we want to do the minutes? There's a lot of minutes, or we
Do
could
you
put
want to
the-
just, yeah, can you do
We'll
those later?
we'll put those because a
You
lot of
want to do
minutes.
the Form A?
Let's do the Form A at 198 Center Ave.
All right, there's, I'll have to do the Mylar.
Is anybody here to talk about it?
Apparently, Mr. Chairman, I need to abstain from this.
Yes, you do.
Okay. Is anybody here to talk about this?
I thought Lynn Junior was coming.
You want to talk about it?
So if you guys remember, this was the plan brought in by the LaPointes on 198 Center Ave. And you approved, I think it was an 8-unit building there. And I didn't really look at the Form A, but they're chopping off out of Tom's house, out of Tom Buckley's house from that. So they've been to planning, conservation, zoning, and zoning. So they have all their approvals in place, and this is the last step for them. Is to carve out that lot.
Any?
And all those other approvals are confirmed?
Yes.
So, what is this dash lot that goes through it? Is that the zoning? Yeah, that's the zoning.
Yep.
Okay. So this just turns it into a lightning bolt. This just turns it into a lightning bolt shaped parcel.
Yes. We're gonna call it the Harry Potter parcel.
Yep. And lot 2 is conforming at these dimensions.
Can I show that to Dave?
Sure. Oops. Oh, this is Gordon Farms.
Yeah. Yeah, so that would be fine.
Here would be 10,000 square feet, frontage 50. Yeah,
Sides
five.
and-
This one's side is 10.
Look.
You know, Dave needs a little bit more time to look at this.
I don't think it's fine.
Let's look at the book. Zoning.
I think it's fine because it's in the transit oriented district, which has all those lower.
We don't need to, this is a Form A submission, right?
Mhm.
So we don't need to rush into this.
No.
So if Dave needs a little bit more time, then there's no downside to that, there's no harm.
David, do you think you need more time to look at this?
No, it looks consistent with the plan board approved on the site plan.
Okay.
And lot two appears to comply with the Form A requirements.
I'm just letting Liz take a look at it.
Yeah, you don't have a dimensional table. I'll apologize about that. I'll get you on a dimensional table.
All right, so David, you say it's okay, Liz, you think it's all right?
Yeah.
So I guess we need a motion to approve this?
One other question. This 200 foot from layout line that's next door, what does that signify?
That's the location of the zone line. If you look on block one, that dash line, dash
Yeah.
dot, is the zone line between the TOD and the R30.
All right.
So it is 75 feet from Quincy Street layout, and it's 200 feet
From the
from
front.
Center Ave layout.
And this property continues on into the pond, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. But they said they were going to deed it over to some conservation. Is that right, Liz?
Yes.
All right. Do we know what the process is for that?
So parcel
The-
B is to be combined with the abutting land shown on map 24, lot 30.
That's town of Abington land. 24 lot 30.
Yep. So they can just deed it to the town, and the selectmen can accept it as a gift, I believe.
They can deed specifically what was.
So that parcel B,
Mm-hmm.
towards the left back where it says Island Grove Pond,
Yeah.
that's gonna go to the town. There's a note on there that parcel B is to be combined. And then parcel A, that little strip is being combined with the abutting land shown on map 24, lot 29.
All right.
So this is going to the town of Abington.
Yep.
It's Island Grove Pond, it'll be combined with that, and then this parcel will be combined with that.
Yep.
And then this parcel will be separated out, I think.
Yeah, there's
Yep.
two building lots and two parcels.
Yep.
One and two, parcel A and parcel B, which are being combined with the abutting properties.
And the drainage easement on this is
Oh, time for me to go.
drainage from lot 2 into that new retention basin.
The drainage easement is for stormwater from both lot 1 and lot 2.
Okay.
And that was based on the site plan that was approved by the planning board.
Okay.
Any other discussion? David, you're finished with your comments? on this?
Yep.
Rick, did you have any more comments?
Nope, that's it.
Okay. Would someone like to make a motion to accept this?
Do we need a motion for a Form A? Yep.
Who made the motion? Who's second?
I'll second.
So motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Is that, oh, we gotta sign all of those.
Open that one back.
Yep, we gotta sign all of them.
I don't like the inconsistency in the fonts.
Oh, yeah. Who are you?
No, they're not.
You don't have my wife.
I changed them on the state
No,
side.
it's really-
That was a,
Juicy.
that was a part of the reorganization. It's hidden down the bottom.
Thank you.
Everybody gets new names.
So I'll take that. Okay.
Oh, that's right.
We're gonna go to 6:05 on next.
I'll go ahead and sign that if you don't mind. And then, while we're all signing, I just wanted to let everybody know I received an email last Friday asking for a continuance till June 5th for the 155 preliminary sketch plan. Thank you.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay.
Sorry. So you can vote on that after, but I just wanted to let you know.
June 5th, Liz?
Hmm?
June 5th, did you say?
Guys, they're
June 8th.
asking, yep, they're asking. That'll be up to you guys to. Make that determination.
Who's Kevin?
Kevin's on vacation,
Already?
He
right?
just started. Well, you took school vacation week off, Liz.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I certainly did. And wait till you see what's coming.
All right, well, we can start this.
All right, are those all done?
Almost.
Okay.
Wait till he finishes.
He does this.
Four copies? Three.
3, I think.
You all set? Oh, you're still signing.
No, it's all signed. It's,
Oh, can you send them back down?
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, it 6:05 more or less. Public hearing proposed subdivision 4454 Linwood Street. Do we have someone presenting on this?
Yes.
Okay, could you step up, please?
Can you read the hearing notice, Bruce?
Oh, sure, gotta read the hearing notice, yep. All right, the Abington Planning Board will hold a public hearing on Monday, May 6, 2024, at Abington Town Hall 500 Glenowitz Way at 6:05 PM on a definitive subdivision plan application to construct 3 lots entitled 44 and 54 Linwood Street, Abington, Mass. Winter Fox Estate subdivision prepared for Winter Fox LLC, 142 Fisher Street, Westboro, Mass. by MP Design Consultants in Southborough, Mass. The plan is dated April 12, 2024. Property is owned by Winter Fox LLC in Whitman. Property is located on Assessor's Map, Map 7, lots 9 and 11 in Abington. The hearing will be held at the Abington Town Hall at 500 Glenowitz Way. Plans may be viewed at the office of the town clerk at Abington Town Hall, Monday through Thursday. Bruce Hughes, Chairman, Monday, April 22nd, 2024, and Monday, April 29th, 2024. All right. Could you identify yourself, sir?
Yes. So my name is Mark Alencar. I'm an engineer representing the client from MP Design Consultants. Carlos, the PE, wasn't able to attend tonight. We had another meeting. So can we go on and talk about the project? Yes, okay. So from the previous submission, we had 4 lots. After reviewing the comments provided by Norwood Engineering, and the client agreed to come to a 3-lot configuration. So we eliminated previously what was lot 4 right over in this area. We had some discussions with Norwood Engineering. We addressed most of their first revision comments in regards to roadway profiles, location of structures, site distance, and various other minimum details that we had to adjust and provide. We received additional comments today from David at 11 a.m. today. We have most of them addressed. Most of them are some minor comments that both David and I discussed. Should be pretty simple to be addressed. Just adjusting some calculations and some final appendices on the stormwater report to be resubmitted.
Yeah.
Does the board have any questions?
I mean, a few, but is there anything else you wanted to present about this?
I'm sorry?
I mean, we have a few, but is there anything else you want to present?
Normally, our engineer will present a report before we start asking
Report?
questions.
Yeah.
Our engineer will do it.
Oh, okay.
Yep, he'll present
Yeah,
his report.
So the roadway is in compliance with the zoning regulations. All the lots are in compliance with the R30 medium density district. It abides with the 22-foot length roadway width, along with Cape Cod berms. It has a crossing of a wetland. We were very detail oriented to make sure that we would cross the wetland at its minimum distance and to cover the minimum area, the least area possible. All the lots are configured to have the allowable frontage required, the allowable upland area of wetlands. All of our stormwater features comply with the Mass DP and Abington bylaws. We have 3 lots as it's shown on the plans that you folks have. All the houses are approximately 3,000 square feet with 2-car garages. We are replicating wetland as required. I don't think I have anything else to add to that.
Okay, David?
Just a little historical note, the board is probably aware, I guess this was originally advertised a month ago, but there was a quorum, is that correct?
No, it didn't get advertised.
Oh, it didn't get advertised, okay. I stand corrected. So we did do a review of the plans that were filed and provided those to the applicant. And their current plan reflects those comments that were made on the first plan. Tonight's comments are comments that are in response to some of their comments and additional information that we saw on the plan. I apologize to the engineer for getting these to me today, but I was unable to get these to Liz on Thursday so that they could be sent out on Friday. So I had a little conversation this afternoon before the meeting to go over some of these comments. The comments are, for the most part, pretty benign in terms of the plan. We need to look at labeling, such things as street sign locations, stop sign locations. The stormwater is pretty much in compliance with the previous review that we did. There are some construction details that need to be addressed or added to. Probably the two most important things here are a need for some type of detailed grading plan at the intersection with Linwood Street to show how the proposed subdivision is going to make sure that water is not, from Linwood Street is not directed down the proposed street, and the confirmation of the site distance requirements which they provided for the intersection. The other main issue here is the application of the tree canopy bylaw. There was no compliance shown with that bylaw. As I understand it from talking to Liz, there's 2 tree canopy bylaws, is that correct? One?
No, there's
The
one.
board has one and conservation
Right.
has one.
No, the conservation does not have a zoning bylaw. They have,
No, they have a conservation bylaw.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And this
excuse me, a
zoning bylaw-
conservation regulation. Let me be very clear, but it's not a bylaw, it's a regulation.
Right.
We have a zoning bylaw.
So probably the most important thing here is discussion with the planning board on how their tree bylaw is going to be applied, given the discrepancies with the conservation bylaw, because the applicant is going to need to file with conservation for an order of conditions for the roadway crossing and for the filling of wetlands with the proposed wetlands replication. So the plan as presented, as I put in my recommendation, is not ready for action by the planning board. However, because of the lateness of this review, I'm suggesting that the applicant can go through each of the comments and indicate where they can comply or give further response to the comment. So what I would suggest, if it is preferable to the board, is I would have the applicant go through each of my comments and respond to what their response is and how they plan to address the comment. For example, if drain manhole number 5 is mislabeled, they can indicate that they'll correct that. Most of these comments, as I indicated, deal with labeling and clarification of some of the calculations. So if that meets with the board's desire, I think that most of these can be cleared up. And should the board find that there is substantial compliance with this review, the board could consider approval of the plan tonight with the following conditions of approval that I outlined. The first one was obtaining an order of conditions for conservation and returning to the planning board for any modification required by their order. Confirmation from the other town departments, water, sewer, street lighting, regarding the acceptability of the design within their jurisdiction. Any remaining revisions that don't seem to be addressed tonight would be clarified and submitted for review prior to the board's endorsement of the plan. and then compliance with the planning board standing conditions of approval for subdivision, and submission of an application for the construction general permit under the federal EPA requirements. So with that as a background, I'll let the applicant, with the board's permission, review all of my comments and how they plan to respond to those. Is that an acceptable way to approach this review? Without me going through each one and then having them come back?
For me personally, that sounds good. I don't know if anybody has stronger, stronger wants of the plans, I guess I'm saying. I don't really have any history of the plan, so if anybody else has something they need to focus on, it's.
Well, the history of the plan was, even though you couldn't hold a hearing last month,
Yeah.
I conducted a review. Reviewed their revisions to the plan based upon our review, and these are the final comments based upon that revised review.
Dated April 6th. Dated April 6th, last.
Yes. These are the remaining items based upon the two reviews.
This is dated today, May 6th. The April 6th, you meant to date this today, right?
Yes, I'm sorry. My fault, it's May
That one's
6th.
supposed to be dated May 6th.
May 6th.
And are they looking at what I'm accepted by the town?
No,
Okay.
this is a reduced density subdivision, and if you read in my opening comments on the overview, you'll see that the project is a reduced density subdivision in compliance with that section of the subdivision rules and regulations. It basically says if you reduce the density below what could be otherwise provided under zoning, there are reduction in road development standards to reduce the amount of impervious area, reduce the amount of tree clearing, and one of the conditions of that is the road would not be accepted as a public way. And there is a note on the plan, if you look at the lotting sheet, I think it's sheet 3. It's the one after existing conditions. There should be a note at the bottom. If you wanted to read that.
This plan is a reduced density subdivision. Of any further development or creation of additional lots will require the roadway to be upgraded to full development and construction standards, including a definitive plan modification to the planning board. Is that right? Yeah, okay.
So I guess let me start right there with that issue. So I understand having a not diminished, but a different standard for these types of roadways. What about when there's no shoulder to the roadways? When there's just, it's a bridge basically. And now you have a situation where if you need to get an emergency vehicle down and there's a partial blockage, it's a really narrow stretch. We were already hearing from the fire department about how its ambulance has a little trickiness navigating some of these narrower dimension roadways we've been improving. So does that standard give any consideration to when there is no shoulder where to just drive up and around if there was a blockage?
Well, there's 22 feet of pavement,
Yeah.
plus the Cape Cod berm, which gives you 24 feet
Yeah.
of access, and I believe
There's also a sidewalk.
there's a sidewalk on one side,
Yes,
and there is a grass shoulder
yes.
on the
Five
other
total.
side, and there are retaining,
Yeah.
there are guardrails too, so you've got.
Well, more particularly when you go over, when you have the culvert and that drop off is 10 foot off, I see that there's sidewalks here. I just want to make sure that we're providing enough space for access.
Yeah, that, if you mind me speaking of, that sidewalk is a continuous, so it goes over top of the culvert as well. and the drop is no longer 10 feet. The maximum elevation is about 6.5.
I mean, it's still deep enough that, ambulance can't ride over the side of it if they needed to be. So it's 22 feet plus 4 feet for the sidewalk.
Did you talk to our fire chief?
Right,
No, we have not yet.
Okay, they didn't respond. I did send them a copy of the plan,
Yes.
but I haven't received a
Yeah,
response.
we did run some fire truck movements from the end of the cul-de-sac. We have those figures as well. So
Yeah.
once we are starting the conversation with the fire department.
Yeah, I'm less worried about the cul-de-sac just because, like I said, if they had to, if, there's a party, someone has an emergency, they'll just drive up on the lawn. But, if there's a party, people are parking down along that road, can they get through? That's where my concern is. I don't know what the standard becomes. So,
I was thinking the same, that it should be a road with a sign, not that it'll stop anybody, but no parking sign for the road, if it's gonna be that narrow. You get
Both sides?
snow parking and, yeah.
To both sides, no parking.
the typical standard is 26 feet, but you have vertical granite curve.
No, it's not, well, talking about the ambulance, wasn't my thing. That last development that off Plymouth Street was a mistake. I don't know how we did that, but if a UPS truck parked on the road, you can't go up the road. You're bound in there. It's so narrow that, of course, they had granite curbs, which you can't bend, there's no give. And this is the cul-de-sac, so when they back out into an open cul-de-sac. So I'm just gonna reinforce what Rick was saying about the ambulance, because when there is snow by there, you will lose the path. Oh, is it gonna be a public road, or eventually be a public road?
no.
No?
No.
So, also just so I understand, can we go back one quick step? Who owns this land?
Winter Fox LLC?
Okay, have they purchased and closed and,
Yes.
all right. So it's no longer under control of the previous owners?
No.
Okay,
We have the owner here, he's looking to actually live in one of these lots.
okay, I'm just making sure, because there's significant issues involving the previous owner.
Yes.
That would certainly play into my calculus in all this.
Yeah, he's no longer,
Okay. All right, the slope coming off Linwood, the elevation's about 135? I guess my question is, there's about 20 feet of decline, about vertical loss coming off Linwood down to the lowest spot. You're just okay with the grading, the way that it's graded, that there won't be any, okay, it meets was a 1x3 stint?
What we're looking for is the additional information at Glenwood Street.
Yeah.
To demonstrate the adequacy of the intersection and the required platforms.
But the grade over this couple,
Platform requirements.
yeah, we meet the 2% coming in, meaning, so the requirement is you have to be, 2% at the intersection,
Mhm.
meet that requirement, and then you're actually allowed to go up to 10%. So we didn't, and we stayed at, I think our maximum slope is about 6% coming in, and then we have a low point where we have the catch basins to collect the runoff, stormwater, and then we go up again towards the end of the cul-de-sac, respecting that no runoff from the roadway will get into the proposed development of the homes. So we make sure that the low point is just before the end of the cul-de-sac and all the homes are built.
You hear at one point mention of a plunge pool, which is different than I usually understand what that means, so how does it,
Plunge pools are usually used for erosion and sedimentation control phase.
yeah,
So it's usually the beginning of construction. David, correct me if I'm wrong while I'm explaining anything here. So plunge pools are typically a hole that you dig during construction phasing of the site to prevent all that sediment while construction is happening, right? So that sediment can accumulate in that area, water stages up and slowly sheet flows right to the natural slope. And the contractor bi-weekly has to remove sediment from that hole and make sure that all the stone is in its correct location so that, construction sequence can continue
There
on.
is a detail on the plan
Yes.
that may make it clearer.
Okay, just making
Yes.
sure. And do they need to request a separate stormwater permit, management permit?
I believe they requested it in this application, the exception permit, because
Yeah.
they conform to the Abington bylaws, right?
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure you said they don't, but they have to fill out the exception form.
Yes.
And you're satisfied that they meet the standards for construction as well? Because obviously it's a significant environmental area out there.
Yep.
Multiple. I know it goes through a lot more with conservation, but does fall under our permitting too, so. The drainage easement that goes through the property, is that a buried pipe or is it just a low area or
It's an existing sewer
sewer pipe? Okay.
pipe, yes.
Okay,
Existing sewer easement,
and it's buried.
yes, owned by the town. I believe it's approximately 15 feet down.
Okay.
So it's,
And is that what you connect into or do you connect into?
yes, it's connecting to that, yes.
Okay. All right. So then going back, the one other thing is the tree canopy bylaw. So as far as I understand, whatever regulations the conservation has, ours supersedes what they require. Because ours is a town meeting approved bylaw and there's a regulation.
Yeah, well, what we were hoping to is to get a preliminary approval based on everything that we have addressed. Go to Conservation Commission, understand their requirements of their tree bylaws and regulations and come back with any comments. And given the fact that it is a very sensitive area, to see how we can accommodate, both the development and the town's needs. Given the fact that we're hoping to get another lot from this, we decrease that. There's other potential possibilities of even trying to reconfigure things to have it an 18-foot width driveway. We didn't even look into that, which is a third density development. We wanted to respect the town to make sure that we have enough width of driveways and things of that nature. And going back to your comment about the width of the road, I do believe that 22 feet is enough. That's the reason why the bylaw was written on the 22 feet for the half density. But again, we can certainly, talk to the fire chief and DPW and get their inputs as well.
Yeah. So I'm also looking at the landscaping plan,
Yes,
and it shows a tree lined
right.
way. It doesn't say what type of trees.
Yeah, typically from my understanding, Conservation Commission would rule on those.
No.
No, we have a list.
Okay,
I think I sent that to Zoe.
to Zoe, okay,
I
yeah,
sent
no,
Zoe the
we
tree
are-
canopy
We are
bylaw.
totally open for any tree types to, whichever tree types is suggested,
Okay.
as long as, diameter and so on as well. So we're open to that.
Okay.
This looks like a
I think
total.
the bigger question is if they're going to be required to locate all of the trees 6 inches DBH on the site, or will they be allowed some latitude in what trees are located and where the trees are located? Because that would control what they need to do from this point forward to comply with that section of the bylaw.
Right.
With you, and I'm not familiar with what conservation's bylaw is, and how it differs from yours. Is there a different?
Well, we were never provided a copy of it, so.
I looked for it online.
Yeah,
I
so have I.
couldn't
Yeah,
find it,
unfortunately, yeah.
so.
Sounds like we need to have more communication.
So you should be given some direction as how the board wants to implement that bylaw relative to a site of this size and number of lots.
So did you say your plan is to go to get preliminary here, go to conservation, and then come back here once you know what
Correct.
conservation?
Yes,
wants to
correct.
do?
So essentially, what we want to do is go to conservation, go to each of these departments and say, hey, we talked to the board, right? We addressed most of their comments, zoning, everything is, right? It's in a good moving way, right? Moving forward. And then we're going to go to each of these departments and talk to them directly and say, hey, we already spoke to planning board. All of this is kind of meeting the zoning, right? What are your comments? Do you guys want to provide a letter that we want to respond to as well? And that's how we were thinking of approaching this so that everyone can be on the same page as we move forward.
Is there a reason you didn't do that?
I'm sorry?
Is there a reason you didn't do that before?
The reason we didn't do that before is because we wanted to make sure that we get the okay, that the board is okay with what we're presenting. Once the board is okay with what we're presenting, that's when we typically start doing that. Instead of going back and forth and having departments, have you talked to the planning board? What do they think? What do they think? What do they think? At least if we come to each of these departments saying, hey, the planning board seems to be okay with this. What are your comments? And that way things get moved along a little quicker.
We just received a study not too long ago, there was a photograph of that, looking at the heat that Abington reflects and absorbs and reflects based on how it was back at some particular date. And it showed that we had lost a tremendous, well, we got development, but we've lost a tremendous amount of canopy. And all these areas that were green now are radiating heat. So
So our
That's what-
development only covers about, even though it's a big clearing area, the development impervious only covers about 30,000 square foot. So the impervious area, right, the heat and so
Yeah, but
on.
you're clearing the canopy. I guess that's what you're
Oh.
getting at, right, Jeff? Is
Yeah.
that you're clearing the canopy.
Yeah, but there's certainly other opportunities to, let's say, move the clearing lines and add other trees in certain locations that would have, the canopies will be, diameter will be long enough that could potentially resolve or decrease that issue, If you look at our landscaping plan, so most of this area here will be recovered, reshaded, right? This area here will be reshaded. There are some potential that we could add some other trees potentially to this area. This area is a wetland replication area. But there's certainly potential that, something like that could be adjusted.
Yeah, and that's part of the reason why in the bylaw, we want to know exactly what extent is going to be cleared. We're talking the loss of 200 trees. Well, that's in the meeting.
No, the lot, if you guys walk the lot is, it's very low density tree types.
Yeah.
They're not these, big historic trees it's mostly, Eduardo and I were just discussing this, and it's mostly, brushes and some limbs here and there. So that's mostly what the site is kind of like.
true. It's not true. I've been there.
one
I guess-
second.
I guess this is part of my frustration I'm having in a lot of these developments lately is just basically they're not doing what we ask them to do. Like part of this, maybe because it's not officially online yet, I don't know if that's still an issue.
No, the tree,
It's up there now.
I believe it's on our website.
Yeah.
And I sent a copy
Yeah.
to Zoe.
It isn't just this, it's every one we've had since that thing's been passed last year has
And
not done any of
right
this.
after we had this conversation, a previous meeting, Zoe works for you or with you,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes.
Okay, Zoe had reached out to me multiple times and I sent her everything. So she's had this bylaw and she's known what was required. I was hoping to avoid this,
Okay.
right? Because they had just been through this with a plan that didn't show what needed to be done for the trees.
Yeah, we're just trying to get a sense of, will the conservation, the replication of the conservation as well, which one should we follow?
Well, in your replication, that's important, so are the trees too, so
Yeah.
just do your best you can. I realize if you got swamp oaks that look like they've been there for 1,000 years or whatever, you see those all over the woods in Abington, those aren't gonna last. But if you clear cut along the edges, new trees need to go along the edges to help support those trees that are no longer there.
So I mean, if the plan, in my mind, I'm sorry to
No,
take up so much of this time. If the plan is to use this kind of like, yeah, generally this is where we think the site plan works, I'm okay, go to conservation and then come back with a final, I'm okay with that approach. But understand that's what we're gonna be looking for, some of those final details.
Some of the final tree counts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, and also what will be going in their place.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly, the tree types.
Some sort of a plan.
Yeah, a landscaping plan that would show the tree types
I mean,
and
this is a good start.
the count of trees that will be removed, their species, their diameter, and the proposed trees that will be placed in replication of those trees that will be removed.
Yeah, and I totally get that you wanna hold off because you don't know what conservation is gonna require.
Exactly.
Some of these lines could change, and I totally get
Yes.
that. But, yeah, I mean, well, from where I'm sitting, I feel like that's an okay approach. If we're just doing preliminary.
I guess that was also
Yes.
part of this whole reduced density subdivision approach was by reducing the number of lots in half, you eliminate half of the
only
required
took one
clearing. Pardon me?
They only took one lot out.
No, but over what could be developed under R30. So reduction in the number of lots over what could be built under R30 also reduces the amount of tree canopy, which, and grading and land disturbance that would be required for, typical subdivision.
Yeah, I mean, some of what I'm seeing here, I mean, we see a lot of developments come through here where they're taking twice as much for the background, for the backyards and side yards. And so, I mean, it's definitely a conservative approach to places, but we just need kind of those final details.
You're following a development that was just done, and we all walked up there and went, where the hell are all the trees? We just clear cut the whole thing, and
The other thing you could do is have the applicant put a limit of clearing on the plan to kind of tie that down so the clearing doesn't go beyond what the board is expecting. Have a limit of clearing that's shown on the plans and part of the approval that only the amount that the board anticipates gets cleared, not,
and then let the owners,
and make, another condition would be the limit of clearing is staked prior to clearing on the lot. I think we've done that in the past, where the limit of clearing is staked with a silt fence or snow fence. So a contractor who has no idea what's going on here is confined to the area that the board wants to see cleared to the maximum.
try to be proactive with, when neighbors come back, they're screaming at everybody, but there's nobody for them to even talk to. And the only answer is, well, you're gonna have to sue them, which no one's gonna do. So just try to hit some of these things that were repeated.
There's definitely some potential areas that, we can push the limit of clearing. For instance, this area here that we're clearing, I don't know if you guys can see it, but this chunk area here is just basically to put a drainage pipe in. So if we can stake out locations and have enough area for the contractor to work in, we don't need to clear as much wider as we need it. And definitely those kind of details would definitely be something that we can implement on a construction site or, something prior to a final approval.
Can I ask one more question about your grading? Is the house you're looking at the one with all the high, or the driveway, the driveway, the first one on the right? I just went as well.
Actually, right in the middle.
Oh, in the middle.
That's it.
In my mind, I had something else in mind when I was saying about being proactive. Because you just brought it up, if you're not building the homes, and someone else comes in, they don't know that they've got to build the soil up to a certain level so that it will drain the right way.
Yes.
We had a developer come in, they didn't know that, and their driveway's down in the ground, they didn't have sidewalks, they had no idea.
Yeah, no, the good thing with our plan is that, on the grading plan, we specifically say that the low point is right before where all the driveway is. So then this picks up and goes up again. So this whole area after this low point here at the circle goes up about a foot or two.
And so while we're on the subject of grading, can you just walk us through the steps that are being taken to make sure that we don't have any runoff to abutting properties?
Oh, yes, certainly.
Maybe on C-121?
Can you pull your microphone closer? Nobody's gonna be able to hear you. Sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah, you want me to speak on the microphone?
Yes.
So it's just hard to say. All the impervious area of the whole development, it's being sent to a drainage area, stormwater drainage area to treat that runoff. So even
And
the
where is
roofs. Yeah, even the roofs. So on the plans, if you look at the grading and drainage plan, the roofs are not required, right, to be treated, but we understand that this is a sensitive area. So we wanted to make sure that the roofs were being, downspouts to subsurface chambers that can treat up to, I believe, a 10-year storm of volume, right? So that's the roof. And then all the drainage, all the driveways, they pitch towards the roadway. And all the roadway has Cape Cod berms, right? And all of this development, we know that nothing's gonna come to Linwood as we're going downhill, right? We can look at the profile. So this here is where
Maybe what you could do is move that back a few feet and stand off to this side so this gentleman could see what you're pointing at.
Yes.
He's trying to look through your back right now.
Because there's nothing like one of these sections to mess you up.
Here, folks. Did anyone kind of see it okay? What I'll do is on this set of plans, I'll kind of highlight what our roadway is doing. I don't know how well you guys can see the blue line, but that, so the blue line is what the roadway is doing. So Linwood is here. We'll have a spot grade right along Linwood that no runoff from Linwood will enter our driveway. So it'll be a little bump out, and then it comes down. As soon as it comes down, it's all contained on Cape Cod berms along the driveway. All of our homes, all of the homes, driveway for the homes, not the roadway, they pitch towards the road, right? So everything is contained within the road and it goes to catch basins. We divided our low point, a low point of our road is here. So all of this impervious area is flowing this way and it's coming to these two catch basins, right? All the flow from here, it's also coming to these two catch basins. This flow over here is coming to these two catch basins and going to this basin. Everything is being treated within the property, and also all the outfalls in case of overflow scenarios, in case of storms over 8 inches, which is the 100-year storm, it spills onto the wetland area, onto the river area. So essentially we are making, with this development, we're making it better because now we're taking all that volume of the impervious area that we included in this lot that previously did not have, right? And we're taking that volume and retaining on our site while infiltration and stormwater features happen in calculations. And then at certain scenarios that just on very peak high density storms, these overflow into the pond, into Hunt's Pond. Does that answer the question?
Oh, I have a question though on that. If your drain's running at all in.
Sir, excuse me. We're gonna open this up to public comment in a minute.
Okay,
All right.
he asked me if I had a question.
No, it's okay.
I asked.
We're gonna open this up to
Yeah.
public comment, but right now we're doing board comment.
Yes.
Can that drain into Hunt's Pond? Can that drain into Hunt's Pond?
Through the wetland system.
Okay.
Not directly.
No,
Through
it's,
the wetland system.
yeah, through the wetland system, correct.
All of that makes sense to you, Dave?
Yes. It's pretty standard under the DEP stormwater regulations and the town of Abington's stormwater regulations, which are somewhat more restrictive in some areas, but it's a DEP design, which is approved, and similar to what every other subdivision does. Deep sound catch basins, sediment form bays, infiltration basins, roof runoff into subsurface chambers.
Okay, thank you.
Any other board comments? All right, I'm gonna open this up to public comments, sir.
Yes,
Could you give your name and address, please?
my name is Henry Savignano. I live at 78
Can you
Linwood.
stand up here so people at home can hear you? Thank you very much. We don't want anybody to miss a moment.
Yeah, I'm sure. Hello, my name is Henry Savignano. I live at 78 Linwood Street. This project is directly behind. That's why I'm concerned about it. I came up and looked at the plans. I go to Florida in the wintertime from November to April, but I came home for a week in April and looked at the plans down here, and there were 4 then, and now it's 3, I guess. So, and my main concern is with this area here that he's talking about, where the wetlands are, and they're running the road through there, that's wet maybe 2 to 3 months out of the year, depending on how rainy it is and stuff. If he's turning everything off into here, is this gonna be permanently wet now, this whole area, which is directly behind me?
No, so what happens is we fill part of that wetland, which is regulated by DEP, and you replicate that area somewhere else within the development parcel. So we are replicating that area over here, and part of it over here. And we're having a culvert going underneath to hydrologically connect those two, or previously.
Okay, so all your drainage though is gonna end up in here and here.
No, in here. All the drainage is coming this way, not this way.
Okay.
All of our pipes go this way. Because we understand that this is a higher elevation,
Right.
we don't want water to come back high, then come back low again.
Right, but like I say, will that make this area then wet, like pretty much year round? Like, I mean, that's a lot of runoff to running off and then raining down.
Yeah.
Because right now it stays wet maybe 2 or 3 months out of that.
So what happens is, once we have the development, right, we calculate, there are calculations that are regulated by DEP and the Abington bylaw, right? That we have to make sure that we treat certain amount of volume of waste, right, of our impervious area. So we are abiding to all of those regulations by applying these chambers, these infiltration basins, that take up this volume of water that you're concerned about.
Right.
And it takes all of that and it infiltrates to the subsoil before going into the wetland.
Okay.
So it's just on very, very high demands where everyone else is flooded, that certain water might come and spill over to the wetland. So it's not a typical scenario.
When you were talking 10-year storms, in this day and age lately, we've been getting 100-year storms. You know what I'm saying? On a regular basis.
Yes.
Well, the basins
Yeah.
are designed for the 100-year storm.
Yes, that basins are designed for that volume.
No, that's my question,
Yeah.
because that's my concern, not so much the 3 houses.
Where
I
are you
understand
located again? I'm sorry, sir.
78 Linwood Street,
78.
so right
Yeah.
over here.
Yeah, no.
No, you can't get me from there because I'm a lot higher. than you
Exactly,
are.
yeah.
But this area, I'm concerned with
Yeah.
this being wet all the time.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Mosquitoes
Well,
and
I'm
everything else.
I'm sure that your area will be.
Where I am, I'm fine,
Yeah.
because I'm a lot higher than
Yes.
you are. Yeah. But like you say, this is normally only wet. I hate to see it be wet year round now, because it's draining everything.
Yeah, the subsurface chambers along with the infiltration basins, it meets all the requirements to infiltrate water in a timely manner, to not let that water accumulate.
Okay, that's my question.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other public comment?
I live at 55 Willow Street, my name is Heidi Foley. So I have one question for you.
Sure.
Where the end of the street, it says 22 feet wide, I believe it says?
Yes, it's a little wider for the turns.
Okay. So this is at a blind spot. If you're going from Ashland Street, Groveland Street to Mill Street, you're going down a hill here and you can't see anything going in or out of those driveways. If it was like a fire engine or an ambulance, and they would have to take a wide turn to get in and a wide turn to get out. So it increases the chances of accidents.
We provided a calculation for ASHTO, which we sent to the board. It's a calculation for what's called a stopping sight distance, which takes the vertical elevation of the curb as well as the length, and that abides to the regulations of ASHTO and the requirements of DOT.
So there won't be any issues with, so I'm right here. I'm directly across the street from where this street is
Yes.
built today. So there's a house here, and there's a sign that says, stop ahead, and at that point it starts going down. So anybody coming from this part of Linwood, even though we have a 30-mile-an-hour sign, people generally don't do 30 miles.
Yeah.
So if there's somebody that's trying to get in, even if it's a FedEx truck, anything big, they're gonna have a hard time getting in because it's only 22 wide.
Yeah, we're abiding to the bylaws and to the ASHTO calculations for the stopping sight distance, right? We can't reinforce speed.
And then the next question is, if this is considered a private way and not a public way, where is the snow going to go when the snow's removed?
Oh, there's plenty of no storage in this area, that everything drains this way. There's plenty of snow storage in this area, this area, this area, this area.
So
So the
that,
plows can come in and store over here, and within the site.
and it doesn't impact like the FedEx trucks, the
No, no.
fire engines
No,
or
no.
anything like that? And, you said that they're retaining pools or whatever you call
Yeah,
it,
store
that they have like treatments for like mosquitoes and things like that?
No, so per Mass DEP regulation, those basins, they have to infiltrate within 72 hours.
Okay, so it's not
And there's
standing
a-
water?
Yes, exactly. So there is a whole set of calculations that we do, that we provide David, and it's also gonna be seen by Conservation Commission, which will also be approved by the state DEP. So all of these other, engineering firms in the state will also see this. So therefore, it's not gonna be just standing water.
Okay, because we have been having a lot of standing water with all the storms, like he said. I don't have a sub pump. I might be the only one on the street because I'm at like the hill. Everybody else has a sub pump, but I'm still getting water going through my basement. And in my
Where are
driveway,
you located up here?
I'm right here.
Yeah, nothing that we do in this development will impact you. Our development is much lower elevation than your house is located. So you're at a much higher elevation. This parcel is literally like, almost like a bowl pit of that entire neighborhood. So all the water from everywhere else is coming to our parcel. So nothing that we develop here will impact most of the neighbors.
So even if you put a street light here, it's not going to impact the house?
No, street lighting will have to speak to DPW if there will be something required there or not, but I don't think it will.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else?
Sorry about that, got a new name.
No.
Stop broken in. I'm Buzz McMillan, I'm from 9 Hunts Pond Lane. I'm right here.
Yes, I'm right here.
Yep. I have a couple of questions, not just on this. I'm more interested in the trees, quite honestly. You won't believe it, but we've got a beaver problem in that pond. Yeah, taking trees out left and right, and every time I get out, there's another tree in the water. It's unbelievable how we're cleaning it. I don't know what we can do about it, but is that in the count? We replaced the trees that we were saying.
I'm just glad to hear we got beavers back. We named the town after it, like, all, I see them dead on the road mostly.
Yeah, but it takes you about one season to realize they're a nuisance.
Yeah.
So, it's a, I guess, I'd love to see a green barrier, of course, because I'm there, and I'm gonna be looking at the backyard of one of those. The more trees that are in, the better for me.
You have at least a
Okay.
30-foot barrier of trees, and all that. So you see this right here, this is a tree line. So there's about 30-foot distance at a shorter distance. And this is probably just breaking out the way obviously. They probably have about 4. Yeah, so you're gonna be, our tree line is here. Yeah.
My other question is, what's gonna happen with the dam? What happens when it falls down? What are we doing to save it?
Well, that's a whole other story.
Huh?
They did they repair that a couple years ago? I thought we
I
approved
don't
money
think
to
so.
repair that.
I know if it goes, there won't be a pond there, it'll just be a
Well, that
money
sounds like
swamp.
sounds like a Whitman problem to me. My understanding is that it was supposed to be on the repair list
Really?
because it was a high critical dam. I thought we were. I'll check into it and I'll find out because like I said, I thought we approved money to actually fix it. So
Is there any way to ask for dredging or something? It's about 16 feet of mud in there and about a foot of water.
is it
Most-
privately owned or is it a town-owned pond?
Somebody suggested to me that you come in, drain it, come in, scoop all the mud out, mix it with sand and make money. Who does that, the town or
It depends who owns the pond.
Who owns a pond?
state? I thought the town owned it, because if the dam goes away, then it's, I actually have a map that shows my property line going across the pond, and you can get in a canoe and find the wall.
What's the dam out there? There's another dam out there that we own half and Brockton owns half.
I thought that's the one that we half own it and Brockton half owns it. Isn't that the
I'm
one?
sure about that.
Oh, so it's a different one?
John
Good question.
Stone, if you're watching this.
Call in.
We will research and we will get back to you.
That's all I can ask, thank you very much.
Anyone else? All right. So, David, we have two sets of comments here. We have the letter of February 28th, and we have the letter of April 6th. And I'm just trying to sum this up.
Which is supposed to be May
Today.
6th.
Yeah, right. And you answered the comments, on David's letter of February 28th.
That's correct.
And David just did this letter today, so, we've got a couple of ways we can do this. We could hold off on endorsing this until, you look at the letter of David's letter of today and, discuss these comments with David. Or we could approve this with the recommendations that David suggested at the end of the letter.
Yes.
So, now I'm gonna put this back to the board.
I would suggest, if I may, that the canopy bylaw hasn't been addressed, and I understand that conservation is gonna have a lot to do with, you're gonna have to replace a lot of trees if you cut down trees in the wetlands. I kinda like Rick's idea of, I hate to say it as a preliminary approval, but you're gonna be back. Once you review our bylaw, once you figure out what conservation is gonna make you do with the trees, you can better address, I assume you really haven't gone through our bylaw. And maybe present a little better on the tree situation. I'm fine with a conceptual, I'm a little hesitant to completely approve it, unless somebody else has another suggestion.
Actually, I feel the same way. The only thing I was thinking of, sometimes you need our approval for other boards too. Do you need any of that? At this point, it doesn't sound like you do.
I mean, you've been to the planning board, we've done all the drainage, we all agree that is okay. But my fear is if we just approve the plan, we still haven't addressed the tree issue.
It will be addressed.
Okay.
It's on the letter that David said. It's part of the subject of being approved by Conservation Commission and also coming back and present to the planning board, whatever Conservation Commission decided as well. So it's in there as a subject to come back to the planning board.
So our tree bylaw is the zoning stuff, which we really haven't addressed. And I understand conservation is gonna impact it. So I guess that would be one of the conditions, that you come back and explain
Yeah.
the deal with the trees. You
Certainly,
need to look at our bylaw and
Yeah.
see.
Unless I misunderstood, he is looking for a preliminary approval, not a final,
Right.
so that he can go to the board.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, I don't have a problem with the preliminary approval. I hate to use that word, preliminary.
Yeah, I'm thinking we don't use it a lot.
No.
I mean, if the board wants, I can, if you let me know when you're going, I can send conservation, the chairman a letter, or the chairperson a letter, saying that, you know, the guts of this have been reviewed, you still have some work to do, but a lot of that is dependent on conservation's outcome and stuff like that.
Certainly. Yeah, that helps.
Yeah, the bones of the subdivision have been done.
And you can go to the fire chief, you can
Exactly.
go to the DPW and
Yes.
get all that stuff cleaned up and on the plan.
Goal with that letter is
Sure.
helpful, right? Because sometimes they don't even look at you if you haven't got something from the planning board
No.
to proceed.
Right, because we do all the drainage stuff.
As long as the beavers don't eat the tree
You,
can.
you still have a hurdle to cross with conservation.
I'm sorry?
You have a big hurdle to cross with conservation.
Yeah.
So,
if we close the public hearing, does that mean we have to repost it in order to talk about it again in
Yes.
a couple months? All right.
Yes.
So can we continue until
You need
after
to
the?
continue to a date certain,
Okay,
so.
so just pick one like,
The date, you know, a September meeting, or, I mean, how fast, are you signed in with conservation yet?
No.
Okay,
Let me just get my phone.
they're gonna be at least a couple months, knowing how they work. So
Probably
September's
September.
probably,
September?
If we were to continue to a date certain, and then when that date came, we realized that we still weren't ready, could we extend it again?
They would have
Yes.
to request that in writing.
Yes, they could.
Yep, they could.
So.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we can pick a date, and if it doesn't work out, then we can adjust it.
They can request an extension.
If you pick it too far out,
Right, you don't want to take it too far.
Right. Does September sound reasonable for you?
just understanding that you may not make it onto their June agenda. You might be looking at their July agenda.
Mm-hmm. No, so I understand, not June.
That would give you, so it gives you
Yeah.
multiple months to get everything, to speak to everybody, get it back together and on a plan.
We normally don't have a meeting
Yeah,
in
can we put
August.
it to August?
We don't meet in August.
No. Yeah, September I think is fine.
You would have to get us the plan in August,
Yes.
so Dave could review it.
Mm-hmm.
all right, so we're not gonna close the public hearing.
Just, sorry, Ms. Cruz. So Conservation Commission would have a different peer reviewer?
There is no peer reviewer.
They could.
And if they want the stormwater stuff, I can give it to them.
Perfect.
If
I
they're
just wanted
requesting
to
it.
understand, because it was reviewed here.
Yeah, they don't do the stormwater review unless the board is doing
Hasn't.
no review. Like,
Understood.
we had somebody who was building a farm,
Right.
which isn't necessarily in the purview of the board, so in that case, the conservation
Understood.
did do the stormwater
Mhm.
review. But normally, the planning board does do it.
Perfect,
So any kind of information they're looking for, I can share that with them.
perfect.
You can let them know that, or you can give them a copy of the stormwater you gave me,
Oh, yeah.
and then I can give them a copy of Dave's letter.
Mhm.
However you wanna do that. You can
Yes.
just send me an email and say I'm filing it, can you give them a copy of the letter and send them a letter?
Perfect.
Remind me to do that.
I will. Only.
So I guess I'm looking for a motion to continue this hearing to,
How about September 30th? That was the Wayne Smith belt and suspenders in case you can't make that September specific meeting.
All right, continue this until September 30th, 2024.
But does that mean we couldn't take it up in that first meeting in September?
Yes.
So you're into October.
Okay,
Yeah, I would do it up, and they keep requesting.
Until the September
They're not
meeting?
ready. I don't think they're gonna be ready, but that's,
okay,
I don't wanna hold them up either.
right,
Okay, all right.
right, so I'll look up the date of the board meeting and put that in the minutes. And put that in the letter.
So someone want to make that
I'll make
motion?
that motion.
Okay, Rick has made a Bob has made that motion. Someone second?
I'll second
Could we
Jeff,
just
Yep.
restate the motion, please?
Motion to continue the hearing until the September blank. I will look up the date of your September hearing, your September meeting.
Until the planning board's meeting of,
The
in
planning board's
September.
meeting in September.
Okay, okay.
All right,
And I will fill in that blank tomorrow.
so motion made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Guess we will see you in September.
Thank you.
Isn't that Swan?
Yes.
And for all the abutters, you will not get
Old timers
notified
remember that
again.
one.
You will not, because it's a continued hearing. So you will not get notified. Feel free to reach out to me. Liz Shea in the planning office, you know who I am. My email is on the website, on the planning board page. So feel free to,
What's the tentative date? Are we able to go to the next one?
sure, yeah. They kept the public hearing open and the plans and everything. So if you guys check back with me in August-ish, towards the end of August, I should have the revised plans and you can come up and look at them. All right?
So the
You're welcome.
first Monday in September is
Yeah, so it's the week after that, I think. I don't want to, because I can't decide, I can't remember if you guys decided on a Tuesday or the Monday after. So I don't want to say a day and be wrong.
It's the Tuesday, I'm not gonna be here. No, I have, so when my house got tied on it.
But
My
you-
trucks couldn't get down, they made me put a circle in it.
Yeah, that's kind of why we're a little, it's one of their complaints about some stuff done. For the board, I need to take off. I
See you later.
apologize.
All right.
Can we ask everybody to leave? Excuse me, can we ask everybody to leave so the board can continue their meeting? Thank you so much. Adios, my friend.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is why you're here.
Yeah, you know how to clear a room.
I certainly do.
What's your name?
Mark.
Mark?
Yes.
Carl, still, is he active? Carl Garvey?
Carl Garvey, yes, he is. Yes, yes.
I know.
He's actually on this project. He surveyed the property.
Oh.
Yeah. He wasn't able to make it to tonight, but he's still.
Are you an engineer?
Yes.
Oh, very good.
Yes.
Very
Yes.
good. I'm Jeff Ryan. Well,
Jeff, nice to meet you. Mark. I know, Rick, I think I saw you before on the previous meeting. I mean, I saw all of you in the previous
Bob.
meeting. Yeah, Bob.
we were kind of discussing, you've got control of the project. I remember like, felt very good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
You can kind
Yeah,
of tell.
Carlos was supposed to be here tonight. He's our senior engineer that kind of reviews everything, QA, QC, and does the stamping. He sometimes comes with us as well for the presentations. But thank you.
All
I'm
right.
sure we'll be seeing each other again.
Okay, yeah, good.
Thank you.
All right,
This was,
that's yours. All right. This is all
Yeah.
mine. This is all mine, minutes. All right.
It being 6:20, more or less, preliminary sketch plan, 155 Birch Street.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, Friday, I received a request from Michael Fernald, and he wrote, "Hi Liz, we will need to request a continuance until the 6/5/24 planning meeting for the 155 Birch Street sketch plan. Please confirm receipt of this request," which I did. So I just need a vote from you guys.
Motion to continue.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Okay.
Let's see, we got any correspondence?
We did not.
Okay, no.
Well, let me see. I don't want to be a liar, pants on fire. I think I put everything on the agenda. So the minutes. Oh, that's on the agenda. That's on the agenda. Yeah, no.
Okay. ZBA agenda?
All right, did I not send that to you? I don't think I got it.
Okay.
There's multiple people working on that. So my apologies.
I think I'm gonna do this last.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
All right, we got in our meeting packet, adopting a policy to name streets after Purple Heart recipients.
You did, Mr. Chairman. I was approached by Adam Gunn, who is our Veteran Service Officer. And he, I'm not sure who came up with the idea, but they had a suggestion that we name streets after Purple Heart recipients, Abington residents who are Purple Heart recipients. So he gave me a tentative list, which includes Herbert Bailey, Carl Bombardier, in light of full acknowledgement, that was my uncle.
Which one? Who was your uncle?
Carl Bombardier.
Okay.
William Billy Cox, Walter Fitz, Melvin Libby, Charles Mason, Bill Elwick, Johnny Murphy, and Robert Carter. This would be a starter list. They're still researching some of this stuff. And he wanted to have the list look by, I think it was Christy Coburn. He wanted her to double check it. But this is the initial list. I told him I thought it was a fabulous idea, but obviously it would be up to you guys. We have that.
The signs are huge.
Right. George Wolfway, which is what the street name of that last subdivision that was here, was the last killed in action name. It was actually assigned to Birch Street, which has languished for multiple years, so I pulled it off of there and I assigned it to this because this might actually get built. And after that roadway is assigned, that will be it for our list.
So if somebody else gets killed in action,
They would go right to the top of the list, and you could make that the policy that anybody killed in action, of course, would be right to the top of the list, and then we would go back to the Purple Heart recipients.
I love the street, I'd love to see a sign for Mel Libby,
Me too.
a great man.
Right?
Great man. And Bill Elwick too.
And I think as part of this, if you guys choose to adopt this policy, that maybe we should do it in alphabetical order, because I don't think we want me putting Carl Bombardier first, and then followed up with Mel Libby. Right?
Well,
And then Bill Elwick, who are all people I knew, so,
I'd line it up as popularity, like who likes the person most.
right?
Isn't that how you get selected?
We'll do it, what was that, a monkey survey or something
Yeah.
out to everybody, and whoever gets the most votes?
It'll be all the people that Liz and I knew.
Right, first, second, third.
Right. You guys had a chance to look at this?
yeah,
So do you think this is a good policy to adopt?
I think it's a great policy
Yeah.
to adopt as long
I do
as,
too.
like we discussed, if somebody else is killed in action, it goes on our list.
I love these signs.
Yeah, so he gave you
Is that be-
renderings?
Is that because of the required size of the letters? I know it is, like for exit signs and stuff.
Yeah, I think it's that plus fitting, yeah,
That Purple Heart's huge.
yeah.
Do we need a motion for that?
So you do, but I just want to make sure, so the policy is that anybody KIA would go right to the top.
Yep.
And that the rest of the signs would be taken in alphabetical order, because that's true.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Seconded.
Rick, okay, Bob made the motion, Rick second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
All right, I will draft that and send it off to Adam on your behalf. I'm sure he'll be thrilled.
Liz, you want to give us an update on the housing production plan?
Yes, coincidentally, Ken Coyle reached out because the housing production plan is part of the Affordable Housing Trust's strategic plan, I believe is what they adopted. When they came here, they had a final draft, and I believe they had approved it, I'm not sure. adopted it. So as part of that strategic plan, one thing they need to do is update, or the town needs to do is update the housing production plan. Ours expires this year. So I think Ken and Bruce were having a conversation and they reached out. I was on vacation, you talked to Kevin. And while all that was going on over here, I got an email from OCPC that grant money is actually available for us to do that, and that they could use our district local technical assistance money for next year to add to it, and we could get our housing, they could update our housing production plan. So I think that's a great deal, and I think, what do you want to maybe have a subcommittee, or you want to work that out later, or?
Let's work it out later.
All right, so that's kind of, I think, the direction we're headed, is to have a subcommittee to actually work with OCPC on updating the plan.
Coincidentally, when I was talking to Charlie Kilmer, who's the Assistant Executive Director of OCPC this afternoon, about Dan, I told him that, and of course, they're very enthusiastic about that.
Yep.
So,
Yep, no, I'm thrilled. I'm actually attending a regional, they got a grant of close to $1 million to come up with, OCPC
is
did.
that Paul Limato?
I don't know who got it. It's
He's the grants guy.
to update, or come up with identify and come up with solutions for regional water issues. So I've been over there once a month with CDM on some of that stuff.
Just an advertisement for Old Colony Planning Council. They, in their wisdom, I'm a retiree, full disclosure, I'm an OCPC retiree. They, in their wisdom, hired a grant specialist, and his name is Paul Yamato. And I know Paul very well. He's actually Pat Chiramello's nephew.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, who was the executive director of Old Colony Planning Council, and MPA graduate of BSU. But anyway, so hopefully we'll utilize Paul's services.
Absolutely.
Fire station.
Fire station.
Yeah.
Bruce and I attended a meeting with the chairman of the Fire Station Building Committee and some of the other members of the Fire Station Building Committee, along with the chairman of the Conservation Commission. Is that it? I think that's all that was there.
Yep.
So they presented us with sketches, which I have, or almost near completion plans, which I provided copies to you guys. They asked Bruce and I if we had if anything came up that was glaringly in violation of the town's rules and regulations.
I can't tell what's proposed.
So
Colored?
if the seal is in the lower right-hand corner,
Yeah.
that's Central Street. And there's gonna be an entranceway where, remember we took the land by eminent domain at 199
Oh,
Central
that house.
Street? The house.
Yeah.
So that's where the roadway and then on the right there is the fuel island. They have to move the fuel island from where it currently sits, which is sort of in between the
That's the
police
same thing.
station and the
Yeah, it's the same thing, but
DPWs.
just can't- So which one's the fire station?
The fire station is that first building up front
Oh, where
on the left-hand side.
Glenn has his building?
No, it'll be right next to that. Glen is the next lot over.
Right,
Oh,
so the road
okay.
to the cemetery goes in beside.
Yes,
To the
Yeah.
left.
yes.
Oh, yeah.
So basically where the buildings are now, that they're tearing down is.
Yeah, where the highway
Highway
building
fire
is now, the highway garage out
Yeah,
front,
yeah.
it will come down and be the fire station.
Okay. Oh, okay, yeah, that's right,
So-
I confused the two together, yeah.
It's hard to tell by this plan, but that's gonna be the in and out on the right.
Yes, so that's gonna be in, and then it circles around and you come back out. Yeah, you can go in and out on that side, but then you can also, there's
Come out in
a,
the middle.
go all the way around where the police station is.
Oh,
There's parking spots in the rear of the police station, so you're gonna go behind those, and there's, a two-way road there. So that goes in and out and around.
The fire department, when they get an emergency, they have to drive half a mile?
No, they're
outside?
gonna, so they can come out right here.
Is that spot is right in front?
So the fire station is right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they'll be able to come, right out.
Okay,
There's a
Bunch-
sidewalk
bunch of
there, so
Central
it's,
Street.
it's right next to where the road is.
oh, I see some parking spots
Right.
there, yeah, so it's not all.
So there's a truck that comes out over here, and then it's actually an in and out. There's a road in and a road out.
Are they gonna add curb cuts? Are they adding curb cuts? Because there's no, not thinking now.
There's no curb cuts there.
I don't know, I'm not sure they're that far in the,
They're just, oh, they're going pretty far, ain't they?
Interesting.
yeah. So, I think that was it for that.
Continue.
Can I get a copy of that list?
Oh,
Thank you.
All right, water wish list.
so I received an email from Crystal Cameron, who is the superintendent of the Joint Waterworks. And she asked that if the board had a wish list of projects. If a project had been turned down because we didn't have water, or if they had a wish list of projects that they would like to build, if water was not an issue, she would like to know what those would be. I mean, my first thought was, so right now, I don't know what economic development wise in North Abington or Center Abington. I mean, there's some capacity there from the buildings that already exist. But if a big user came in, obviously,
Yeah, but you
we wouldn't be able to do that.
can't hold water for a certain project.
No, but if water wasn't an issue, and I guess that's what,
So-
she was saying.
So the base would be built if water wasn't an issue?
yes, yes,
Would be probably.
yes, and
So I guess I'm
it's,
curious, is what's the purpose of the exercise? Why are we being asked that question?
they have their own group with Hingham and Weymouth. So there's almost two, and we're part of that as well, 2 water groups looking at water issues and water sources and solutions in this general area, South Shore. And then again, that group is more with Weymouth and the Air Base and Hingham. And I think that's what she's working on. They have a consultant, and I guess they're looking wish list wise, 10 years down the road, if we have unlimited water, what would you like to see? And for example, it's my understanding that the pool place and the Christmas place has been sold.
I'm not surprised.
To whom?
I do not know,
I'm not surprised, that's prime real estate.
but I,
Yeah, I mean, we can't hold up projects based on.
no, we can't,
Water.
but this is what she's saying.
Yeah.
If water was not an issue at
Oh,
all.
then I want a nice beautiful fountain at every instance.
Right?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
I
And
know.
one of those lazy river all around the town.
All around the town.
That would be for me.
That'd be an excellent way to reduce our carbon footprint in getting around the community.
You're looking at that,
By
they're going,
gondola.
I think this has
Right?
hurt us. They've been doing that carbon footprint, they're kind of researching it, and going, I
Right.
think we did the right direction.
Right.
All right,
So nobody has anything that they want to see on a wish list?
Well-
Just,
So,
Commercial.
kind of ad hoc, or can we chew on that for a month and then come
I
back?
don't know when she needs the results. I just told her I'd put it on your agenda for Monday.
Okay.
I would just
I
like
just
to
think
see
it's
some
an
economic
argument.
development for
Right.
the tax base.
That's all.
Yeah, it's like if you were an animal, what would you be your favorite, if you were?
Economic development that doesn't involve flesh.
Right, well, actually,
So
that
if we
right
throw
now, if you
something
think
out
about it,
casually,
there's
where is
no
that
water
going
up
to
there,
resurface?
right? Whatever water they
Right.
used is very
I
limited.
mean, obviously, if we had the water, we'd all like to see more commercial
Right.
development,
Right.
which helps the tax with
Well,
very low burden.
we do, luckily in some way, we have a lot of land for redevelopment that's been sitting and stagnant for so long.
Right.
Just wait for someone to come
Well,
in.
hopefully, if the pool place is sold, that's gonna be something commercial,
Yeah.
hopefully.
Well, that's what it's owned for.
Yeah,
Grow
a lot of land.
Could be a growing facility.
How much is that? How many acres is that?
Oh, I don't know.
That's all.
It's a pretty good size
It
house.
is a chunk, because it goes way back.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be a grow facility if we had unfettered water,
Right?
right?
Yeah,
Growth facility?
yeah.
Grow,
That's
yeah.
a district.
It's in the district.
You start growing magic mushrooms.
No, mushrooms.
Whatever you wish. We'll make that contingent of the contract, whatever Jeff wishes.
All right.
And then the last is not great, Requests, Kevin, before he departed for, his vacation, I had him work on, seeing what engineering firms, communities around us use.
No, Dave can't leave. That's,
Right, well, I did say that, and I think he was laughing so hard, he just hung up the phone on me, so. Dave has said that when, he's getting ready to sell his house, and they have a place in another state, and they're gonna be spending most of their time there, so.
But they're still gonna have a place in East Bridgewater.
They will, but when he sells the house in Bridgewater, he's done.
yeah,
So I can't believe, he's really gonna retire is what he said.
he's got such a level of education and intellect, and it's just been fantastic for us.
Right? So I don't know what you wanna do. We did talk to environmental partners. They were willing to do site plan review. I believe they're,
Who is that?
I have used them on a couple of different things, but and the highway department has used them on a bunch of projects. I think, I didn't get a fee schedule from them.
I really like Strong Point, but they do so much work in town, they may not be willing.
Right.
They are good.
Yeah.
They've shown themselves to be good.
Mhm.
This is actually the first time I've known the man that's ran the civil company that just here, and I'm like, that's a different character. That's an intelligent guy, that Mark.
Right?
Yeah.
So is that the one here, Civil Environmental Consultants? Is that what you're talking about?
No, they're environmental partners.
Oh, residential.
So I think they would be expensive. I think they would be worth it, but I think they would be expensive.
I mean, they all gotta be in the same
Right.
category.
CEI,
Abu?
Azu,
Azu.
right?
Abu.
Um,
That'd be good.
So CEI, they have done work in this town. I know their name. I'm not all that familiar with them. And then JDE is actually who bought PMP. They're at the bottom under Avon.
JDE Civil Engineering?
Yeah, they're the ones who bought PMP.
Is
Strong
Mike
Point.
still involved with?
I mean, I guess we would have to, if you don't want Mike to do the reviews, we'd have to make that clear.
Yeah, it's
I know, right? Because
been an issue.
Yep.
And I think we have an opportunity to start fresh and clean and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a couple of names on this list at the top for Bridgewater. Strong Point, they've come before this board. Larry Silver Engineering Associates in
Yep.
Bridgewater.
Howard Stein.
I mean, I like Strong Point myself.
I do too, but I think they're gonna be, they present a lot of stuff in front of us, and I know if you contact.
Okay, yeah, you're right, you're right.
That BSC group?
BSC, yeah, that's a big engineering firm
Yeah.
in Boston.
Oh, they're in Boston.
The town planner in Hanson sent me an email actually saying, I don't know that I had time to throw it in there, looks like I didn't, that they use Verdantis, which is in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, Environmental Partners, which is in Quincy, and PMP.
Okay, how about environmental partners then?
So I talked to their head engineer when we were talking about this before. He said he'd be happy to take us on.
It's Quincy, it's local.
They're kind of all over.
Mhm.
I think they're in Rhode Island, they're in Quincy, they have an office in Quincy.
Would we consider going through some kind of more formal RFP process?
We don't have to because it's engineering.
Mhm.
So it's not required.
Well, I think some of the members of the board may have more background and knowledge of some of the parties. To me, they're just names on a page. I don't know any of them.
Well, I know most.
And
Yeah. I go by the ones that have come in here. So.
Yeah,
and so
the ones you see, you can tell, the way they present themselves, the way they, it's, that's
when you get an
That's a
engineer that
huge
wilts,
part,
it's
like,
awful.
like Dave is,
Yeah.
he presents himself very well.
Niche Engineering is a woman-owned firm, I believe.
On Strong Point?
No, Niche Engineering.
Oh, Niche.
Can't go there then.
That's who we're gonna hire.
It's Judith
There you
Niche. Judith
her.
Niche Engineering.
Yeah, actually, I do know her.
It just seems to me that we should have some structure or formal way to arrive at a decision.
Well, Liz, I hate to, when Kevin comes back to work, maybe he could fill in the blanks with some of these names that we've mentioned tonight. And just give us more than just a firm thing.
If we were to, when we decide who it is that we're going to do business with, are we entering into any kind of formal agreement or contractual arrangement with that? We're just saying.
No, we
want-
didn't, we haven't with Norwood or,
Okay.
or with PMP or Beals and Thomas, we didn't with any of them.
Okay, so
They
there's
kind of
nothing
give us a
binding.
fee schedule. No, I mean, at one point, the board approved Beals and Thomas, Norwood Engineering, and
So what is wrong with Norwood Engineering, even though David isn't gonna be there?
because David isn't gonna be there.
I get that part, but we've been dealing with them.
But we can-
Do they have
we can
somebody?
deal with that.
Yeah, I mean-
Somebody that, you know what I
I
mean?
can ask him what his recommendation
Yeah,
would be.
I would ask Dave
Yeah.
if he has a recommendation. We don't have to, but it's a good idea, I think.
It makes
And
sense.
we've been using Norwood Engineering,
Oh.
other than Dave's been
And-
the spokesperson.
Right, and he's, and they've done the, all the stormwater review.
Somebody that's familiar with the town, we've been using them.
Whatever, yeah.
Sad to see Dave's gone, but they must have somebody that can.
Right, so you guys are looking, we're gonna ask Dave for
Recommendation,
Dave for a recommendation, you're interested in Strong Point.
Norwood Engineering.
I just assumed somebody that we're familiar with and we've been using.
Howard Stein Hudson is a good firm. Well, most all these firms at the top are familiar to me, and they're all good firms, so.
PGB Engineering is who Rockland uses.
Mhm.
And I really don't know anything about them at all.
What about the Hanover CI, Hanover, we talk about that?
Yeah, he actually followed up a couple of times. He sent me an email and left me a voicemail.
Mhm.
So why don't I put him on the list? And we have used, they have either been before us or someone in the town used them because and nothing is, there's no red flag in my head with that name, which is usually how I connect, right?
Mhm.
So I don't have anything bad to say about it, but, yeah, environmental engineering, and that's sort of the lens, I think, a lot of this stuff needs to get done with now anyway, is kind of with an environmental engineering lens as we move forward.
I think asking for Dave's input is a great idea.
Okay, all right, so I'll email him, and then I've got on Strong Point, Norwood, CEI, and, any other?
Oh, she's too big. No, yeah, it's gotta be somebody that has stormwater.
Yeah, if anybody else thinks of anything or has any questions, shoot me an email and
Larry Silver,
all right.
did work with him for a long time. Came before his president. All right, so thank you, Liz and Kevin. The thing we have left are the planning board meeting minutes.
So Kevin's been busy, I take zero credit for any of this.
It was just November 6th meeting had Bob Silver and Franny's, like Franny's name was spelled wrong, Joe Franny's name was spelled wrong.
Okay, so, yep, all right, amend.
But he did a terrific job with the minutes, by the way.
He did, he's been working very hard.
I don't know if my brain can go that far back.
I know, well, you know what the thing, I think the benefit for him has been, he's got an idea of what you guys have done over the last 6 months or so, right?
So we could approve these individually, or we could just approve them as a lot.
So,
I was absent for one.
and you have, so 11-6, as amended. So if I could have you vote on that one first.
Make a motion on the minutes of 11-6.
November 6th, the demolition.
Okay. Second, someone second?
I second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then Bob, when were you not here?
The March 18th meeting.
All right, so why don't we do that next?
March 18th meeting. Someone like to make a motion to approve these?
I'm not on there either. So,
Oh,
We were both absent.
you were both absent.
So it has to be Rick. and
Yeah,
me.
except you don't have enough votes.
Oh,
So you have to wait till, Rick
Yes,
Collins is
yes.
present. Okay,
all right.
all right, so then you have the rest of them?
We have September 21st, April 1st, September 18th, and October 2nd.
Just taken as a whole,
Yeah, sure.
I'll make that motion.
Someone second?
second.
All right. Before we go tonight, I just wanted the public to know about some really sad news we received this week, today actually. Hopefully, if you've been following this board for a long time, you will remember Daniel Crane, who was the town planner, and also Dan was retired executive director of Old Colony Planning Council. And I got a call from Dan today, and he told me he has terminal cancer, and he's received last rites, and probably doesn't have a lot of time left. Dan was a terrific asset to the town of Abington, wrote a lot of our master plan and open space and recreation plan, and I personally know Dan for almost 50 years. A fine man, and I'm not calling for a moment of silence or anything, because he's not dead yet. But I just wanted people to know this, and just a really great man. And when the time comes, the board will send a message of appreciation to his family. All right. Anything else tonight?
A couple of things, please.
Sure.
So, after we passed the MBTA zoning changes, we kind of kept our talk a little bit about the design guidelines and agreed to defer that discussion. And I think that's something that can easily kind of slip between the cracks and get deferred and deferred and deferred.
What's it on? Guidelines on?
Design guidelines for what we'd like to see pursuant to the MBTA zoning.
Okay.
So there's a section there that kind of speaks to guidelines that we can adopt.
Can adopt later.
And so I think we should.
Okay.
So I think that's something that we'd like to get onto the agenda so that we can keep that conversation active and
Does
make some
July
progress.
sound okay for you?
Yeah.
Because when Kevin gets back, we have worked through most of the master plan. So
Yeah, that was
he's
the
gonna-
second thing I was going to
Yep,
ask
he's gonna
about.
provide that. I didn't want to do that without him because he did
Yeah.
a chunk of the work on it.
Yeah.
And
So
then,
that's kind of,
yeah,
the second thing was the progress on the
Yep.
master plan, which is, I know Kevin had been working on that.
yeah, so we ended up getting together, like setting some time aside and meeting in a different room actually. So nobody could find us and went through everything.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
so he has answers to all those questions now and, or a direction to look for information, so we should be good to go. So I was gonna do that in June, and then we can do the design guidelines in July. And then we can talk about any kind of zoning changes you guys wanna
Well, I
make
think the
in
design
September.
guidelines could be on the agenda for June, because I don't think it's necessarily something that we're going to adopt at that point in time.
All right, so,
But just trying to figure out how we're going to get to
all right,
the goal of adopting
okay,
guidelines. Some discussion of how we get there,
okay,
what form that conversation takes.
okay, that's,
And that's the overlay district. That's that
Yes.
piece, yeah.
and then in September, if you guys are thinking about doing any zoning changes for next spring, you can start thinking about that and we can talk about it in September. Which I know sounds early. Not early.
No, it isn't.
Stop.
You know,
So I know there's kind of a move underfoot maybe to look at Route 18, to look at some mixed-use zoning. I'm not sure if that's palatable to all of you or not.
That could be interesting.
And I actually have a quote, it's a year old now, from the Barrett Consulting Group to work on us with that. So,
You have a what, a quote?
A
Money
quote. the quote, I say it was like $15,000 to $20,000 for her to work on that with us.
There's money somewhere. Is there money somewhere?
There might be.
Okay.
We're not talking about it though. And so in other news, we have $100,000 to use for economic development. So we have engaged a consultant that we're going to start working on with our a little revitalization plan of North Abington. And we'll see where that goes. We contracted with her last week and
as long as she doesn't say put more clocks up.
no more clocks. We're talking trees, lampposts,
Okay.
facade program. Those are right off the top. That was kind of the spitballing stuff we were talking
I
about.
remember that conversation, and I kind of wonder what happened with it. Every time I drive up and down, I go, there's gotta be some way.
Yeah, so we applied for a grant and didn't get it last year, so, and fast forward, here we are.
Yeah.
So signage,
Yeah, so
Uh,
once again, I think, looking to the master plan for guidance
Yep.
on that. Because certainly that there's items in the plan that speak specifically to
Right,
that
to-
topic.
Yep.
So start with those.
right. And the second thing is I got my email from the federal government about our $1 million for the bridge. So even though that event at Island Grove got canceled, I still did get notice we're getting the money. So I feel a little better about that. So, yeah, that's all I got for you guys.
Is there a figure on that to fix the bridge?
1.2.
1.2.
And the 200 is contingency.
Actually, I thought it'd be more, it doesn't include doing anything with that arch at the end.
Nope, the arch just got redone in 2012. They redid the whole thing for the, was it the
Doesn't
Tricentennial?
sound like it's that long.
I know, right? Yeah, so that's been done. This is to repair the bridge, make it safe and accessible at the end. So kind of what the plan shows now is you get all the way, and before you get to the stairs, we'll pull out a chunk of that, what is it, marble, concrete, whatever
Oh,
it
yeah,
is.
big thing.
And then make a path over that way headed towards the bathhouse.
Accessible.
Yes, to make it accessible.
I saw crews working over there near the bathhouse the other day.
Oh, the bathhouse,
Getting
the
ready.
snack shack's getting an update.
Snack shack, okay, I saw crews in there.
Yep, some CPA appropriated some CPA money for that last year.
Yeah.
So the snack shack's getting a little makeover.
Can we advertise the Abington Days in June coming up too?
That's right. Founder's Day.
Founder's
Oh,
Day,
I don't have the exact date, so I don't want to say.
June 6th or 7th or something like that.
There'll be plenty of information all over town about that.
All right, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Good night, everyone. Thanks for
Thank you.
watching.